So as everyone can see, spring is in the air, and that means that it's the beginning of the rental season in Ramat Beit Shemesh. I've put together a short video about what are the 5 questions that you should ask when renting an apartment. Let's get started. So the first question you need to ask when looking at renting an apartment is what is included in the apartment. Often I tell people it's just the floors and the walls. I know that people coming from overseas have different expectations, that it's going to also include appliances and closets. But this is very often not the case, and you really need to clarify so that there won't be any surprises when you finally take the apartment. The next important question to ask is who is responsible for repairs. In most cases, it is actually the owner's responsibility to fix things, but it also depends what's written in your contract. Often, the owner will have the air conditioning, for example, repaired and cleaned before people move in, and then he'll say to the tenants, okay, for the time that you're going to be in the apartment, it's your responsibility to take care of the air conditioning if anything goes wrong with it. Obviously, if you break something in the apartment, such as a window or something like that, then you are responsible for it. Another question that is really important to ask is what is included in the rent. So often in Israel, how it works, especially in Ramat Beit Shemesh, is that when you rent, you are responsible for all the utilities, such as the water, electricity, gas, and municipal taxes. So you need to take that into consideration when renting, that you have a certain budget. Because just say, for example, you could imagine your budget is 4,000 shekels to rent and it doesn't include the utilities, then you have to make sure that you've got the extra money for those expenses. Another important question to ask is about the contract. For example, what kind of securities are they going to want? 1 month's extra deposit? Are they going to want a shtar chov? Are they going to want somebody to co-sign the contract with you? I often recommend that people should take a lawyer to look over the contract, especially if you're not familiar with how things work in Israel. It's also very important to understand what does it mean when you're going to be in breach of contract, if you're not going to move out on time, to understand exactly what all the consequences are if you don't keep to the contract. This last question is probably the most important question that you need to find out, and that is, where is this apartment located? Location can make the hugest difference when you're renting. Not only for people that are making aliyah, for anybody. You want to make sure that the apartment is located in an area that you have like-minded people. You want to make sure that it's close to good transport, that it's close to the schools that you could possibly be sending your children to, that there's shops around, and most importantly is that you're going to feel comfortable in your environment around you. Every road in Ramat Beit Shemesh has its own flavor, and that can be so critical. So once you've asked all the questions, the practical questions, the next important thing is to know, do you have that feeling about that you want this apartment to be your home? So if you're not in the country, I often recommend that somebody is sent to look around the apartment and to come back to you and tell you what their feeling is about it. If you're here, it's absolutely critical that you come and look at it and you see what it's about. And then you should walk in and you should feel, is this the kind of home I want for my family? Is this where I want to be? Because often long-term rentals can turn into a few years, and this is important that you feel comfortable in your home. Thank you for watching the video. I'd be happy to answer any further questions that you may have. You can either WhatsApp me or send me a message on Facebook or leave a comment below. And I'm also happy to hear what other kind of topics people would like me to address. B'hatzlacha rabba.